Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do a crowdfunded comic called Perfect 10. This is issue number 3. I already have reviewed 1 and 2. This is from Genuine Comics made by Dave Brink. Dave Brink is a fellow Dutchman just like me. And he did this book in collaboration with Paul Rodriguez. He does the pencil and ink. The colors is Daniel Rodriguez and lettering Joel Saavedra, if I'm not saying that correctly. Yeah, I am enjoying this series a lot. So now I have issue number 3. So what I'm going to do, I talk about the comic as I always do. And yeah, let's see if it's actually good. Let's dive in. So we begin here. So who's this guy? This is the wolf guy with the red fur. From issue number 1, and what's his name? Crimson. Yeah, Crimson, and he is wants some attention from his, I believe, his girlfriend, Diabolique. I believe that's her name, and but she doesn't want to do anything with her because it seems that he has lost his powers, and she was only interested in him because of his other persona, his wolf persona, his super villain persona. Now that he is a normal person, well, she basically looks down on him. And yeah, she says, he says, hey, don't I mean anything to you? You're telling me you never liked me beyond all the muscles and teeth? You're not the man I fell in love with, she says. But when the other guy comes back, let me know. All right, he's being ghosted now. Right off the bat, the art of Pau is freaking fantastic. And it's just look at this, it looks great. Also, I talk about the colors a little bit later too, but as you can see, the colors are very nice. So big shout out to Daniel Rodriguez here as well. And we're getting introduced to more super villain people. And this is guy called Glitch. And he can make computers like, I don't know, organically or something. That's basically a cool power. So he can, yeah, as you can see, look at this detail, man. It looks stunning. And he's a little bit concerned about when they bring this assassin, because that's what Perfect 10 actually is. And he's also afraid that the heroes called Safeguard are, tracking them. So he wants to remove the tracking device that every syntech or synth has in their bodies. And, but basically if he tries to do that, then it's a very deadly procedure and she's going to die in the process, right? But then he's getting stopped by, I believe, the head honcho of this super villain group. And called Calamity, and she said, hey, I got other plans for her. Let's reprogram her. All right, that's a cool one. Well, and then we're going to move to the hero side, and we have this guy called Magenta, called Max, and he's interrogating this young girl here, and he is accusing her and of for murdering people in the last issue. If you're going to check that out and subscribe to my channel and all that jazz, that would be great. You can find out what's going on. And she says, hey, your group of murderous misfits killed dozens of civilians, caused millions in property damage, and kidnapped one of our own. And she has some kind of inhibitor on her, and she started crying directly because she was told that she was just here for the mission to kill a robot, and she is also a rookie, and all these people were nice to her, and it was her first mission or something. So they went totally wrong. Then the speedster comes in, and he is, I believe, the leader of the Safeguard, I guess, and he wants to. Oh, Jesus Christ! I forgot to tell you, this comic is going to be full of spoilers. So if you haven't, how could I forget that? If you haven't got the comic and you want to know, well, let's say do not watch this review before you read it yourself, right? Do it afterwards, come back and, listen what I have to tell you about this comic, and leave a comment and a like if you want, and all that things would be great. So yeah, I'm gonna spoil everything, so beware. So it seems that Alec, that's his name, he wants to bring her back because she proved, well, Perfect 10 proved that she was, helping everyone and that she's one of the good guys. But Max here doesn't, want to do that because it's not worth it. Because if the safeguard is going to the enemy camp, chances are that they are being overwhelmed by the sheer amount of enemies and, getting killed in the process. But he says, hey, listen, we're not going to leave her out there, and we're going to search for them. So, yeah, that's what they're going to do. Like I said, coming back to the colors, I really love this panel. Look at this gorgeous coloring here with the yellows and the going to the light brown and then darker brown and then into black, with this Volcano guy. Also, this armor, the shininess, it looks great. I think Dave Brink inspiration could be Erik Larsen, from the Savage Dragon. He has also a similar style of armor in his comics when it comes to characters. Also, Erik Larsen has also a lot of super villains in his comic called The Vicious Circle, if I remember it correctly. So it could be that Dave, got some inspiration and said, hey, I want that in my comic too. Just guessing. Meanwhile, Crimson, that's this guy's name, is still stalking Diabolic. He's basically being a simping now for her. But then this Volcano guy comes and says, hey, is this normie guy bothering you? So these two are getting in each other's faces. And so Crimson says, hey, pipe down. You and I go one-to-one if I get my powers back, so be careful. But he says, you're free to join our sparring session and show us what you got. And then he says, screw all of you, and he's going away. This looks great, man. It's just, wow, just amazing. Meanwhile, our, how do you say, the bad guy here, the leader, is, talking to Perfect 10. And she says, hey, you orchestrated the attack in the city. And she says, well, it was more that we are getting provoked. And the violence that you witnessed, it was about self-preservation. It's up to Division M what's happening next. So Division M is the good guys, or are the good guys. And then 10 says, well, it's bullshit. If the Prime Syndicate wasn't a threat, Division M has no need for the protection program. Despite all the meta marshals at their disposal, they spent billions on this project. And she says that, let's say the Prime Syndicate used to be under different management. We're more organized now. Now, I wonder what that is all about. Because, so does that mean there was another leader? And who is that leader? I have a suspicion, but I'm not entirely sure. And also, later she says that Division M and the Prime Syndicate, or Prime Syndicate, has some kind of a, what's the word, agreement. We're coming back a little bit later to that, I guess. Yeah. And there's also some people in their ranks that are not happy to letting her live because he's an assassin. They said, hey, just kill her now. So she says, Magenta and I made a deal. We get the Syntoids, they get peace. Division M would be foolish to show up. But if they do, we allow them to rescue the assassin and take her back to the power tower where she kill everyone inside. Actually, that's not a bad idea. That's cool. So Glitch here is making some kind of a deprogramming or reprogramming device. And she said, hey, put her in here. But then this is happening. So she escapes. And I love these small effects that he's, through the impact, he he is losing, these part of his body. And then she escapes, and they are basically also impressed that she's got to escape. Meanwhile, she says, "Hey, don't just stand there. Bring her to me." Now, okay, let's. I have a little, well, not it's not really a problem, but I would have taken something differently. But that's what I'm trying to say is it's very, very, very small nitpicking criticism, but it's not really criticism. I would have. I mean, I just noted that she has broken hands here. So what I've, what I have, I'm sorry, what I would have done. Jesus Christ, sorry, I'm not a native English speaker, so forgive me for that. I would have made some kind of a breaking sound, like crack here, or maybe a small panel with a close up that her hands is inside this guy's hand, and then I don't know, breaking, small stuff like that. Also, when it comes to certain names, I noticed that Dave, the writer, decided to when he calls somebody a name like Perfect 10 or Grotesque, that's this guy's name. The name is small, and with the name, I mean, normally if you are typing a letter, or write a letter or do an email, your name is always in capitals. Your first letter of your name. My name is Marinus, so it's capital M, and then the rest comes after that. Dave didn't do that, so it's all a little bit the same letter type. Also, I would have highlighted certain points as well, like Division M or the Prime Syndicate. I would have changed the lettering a little bit more to have bolder letters so that you can distinguish what's going on. For instance, going back here to the interrogation room. So Max here says, power inhibitor, killed. Very, very much. Those are thicker. So when it comes to name, or probably even certain, enemy groups or friendly groups, I would have, or more important things, I would have highlighted a little bit more, just like this. Just like I said, it's a small, very small nitpicking, but that's what I would have done. Meanwhile, so she is escaping, and so we go back to the power tower, I guess, and we see this guy here. So he's the scientist from issue number 1. He's trying to call his son, but his son, he and his son has a difficult relationship, if you can call that. So Max is here, and these are two of our friends, I guess, and they having a talk about what's happening, and also he also asked, "Hey, Perfect 10, did you find her?" And so he says, "Safeguard are on the way there to where she might be, but we shouldn't get our hopes up." And so it seems that Max says, "Hey, why don't you go home, relax, take a break from all this?" But he says, "Hey, why should I go home? There's nothing for me there, only painful memories." And he says, "Yes, I'm the only scientist left with knowledge of synthoid genetics. They need me." And Max says, "Well, she's quite special, isn't she?" And actually, they all were, Max. You refuse to acknowledge it. They have personalities. It wasn't part of your plan. So yeah, Max is, I'm not sure if he's a good guy, but he's not also a bad guy. He's more like, I'm doing this for the company and the safety of the world. And so yeah, I believe he does whatever it takes, but also not. He has some kind, he has a mix of, protecting the company, but also, if I'm reading this correctly, have sympathy for what's going on, and he tried to do the right thing. So what I didn't know is that synthetics, so Max speaks about that the body of 10 was prepared for Aaron. Now, I forgot who Aaron is or was. Maybe it wasn't even talked about in issue 2. but I guess maybe his daughter or his wife. And Erin was supposedly downloaded, maybe her memories, into Perfect 10. But then somehow he felt bad about that or didn't feel right. And so Max says, if we did, helping Erin was always part of it. I truly wish we could save her, Virgil. The perfection program has always been about saving people. It still is. The greater challenge was to develop process necessary to transfer someone's consciousness into a syntoid body. We still haven't figured that part out. And he talks about sacrifices, etc. But then the scientist guy says, "You are right. It's that I have never really protested against the syntoids having their memories erased and emotions suppressed. I suppose I didn't just want to consider them as individuals. I was selfish. But when Erin died, my perspective changed." I like this. It gives us more an insight about what's going on and how these people have changed their vision for the whole Perfect 10 program. I like that. But, still Max here is, pro company. And he says, "Is that why you bypassed the safety protocol when you woke up 10? Guilt? How is that not selfish? So you deserve to be free, Max. You don't seem to understand," he says. He explains that Perfect 10 and the other synthetics are designed to be the perfect assassins, killing machines, living weapons, and the safety protocol made sure her emotions were contained. It made her more effective in the field. I like that Pa also just draw her with a perfect blank stare while she's killing people left and right here. And also it made her more controllable. Okay, so that was the plan all along. And so you can see that the good guys are probably not the good guys, but bringing soldiers into the fields without emotions, it could benefit certain aspects of the world, I guess. But if you are living in a world with a group of supervillains that can kill people left and right, I can imagine. But is it good? Probably not. So Max said, "Hey, you should. You're lucky that you are lucky that you are that he is alive because he didn't use the safety protocols, right?" So so then the scientist says, "I figured I was going to die anyway. When the Prime Syndicate attacked the lab, it was clear that they had no intentions of leaving any survivors. The mission was to destroy the entire project, so I couldn't be rebuilt. If I had woken 10 up with the protocol programming, she'd be a mindless drone forever. That isn't right, Max. What we do to the syntoids, it isn't right." Now, I was wondering what Perfect 10 actually is, besides a syntech or syntoid. Does that mean her consciousness, her personality, is that her own? Or is someone else now in her, another individual, who's been downloaded into her consciousness? I'm just wondering. I'm not sure it is. I just made things up, but comics that gives me a certain information and I need to think about that, that's a good thing. Great. So they continue their conversations about, morality, etc. And then we go back to the action where, 10 is trying to stay alive while the other people here, these villains, try to, kill her. But then then this is happening. So there's a wall forming around her and she's meeting up with a group of other villains. So more trouble, I guess. And this guy says, "Hey, you look lost." Then this is happening. Okay, so what's happening here is that she is saying "Hey, lost? I woke up in some underground lab, and only a few hours ago I've been trying to make sense of everything that happened since. Nothing makes sense. So she talks about that she doesn't know who she is, and how her power works, and that she's, killed people while she doesn't have any recollection of it, no memories, and that she is being felt a little bit, I guess, used by the good guys, that try to, use her, quote unquote, for doing the right thing, and then, on the bad side, they want to reprogram her. So she is a little bit pissed off, and so her demeanor changes. The problem that I have with this particular page here is I see what Dave is doing, right? I know what he is going for. The problem is if I am 10 and I try to escape, for my life because I got supervillains try to kill me or deprogram me, the last thing I'm gonna do is talk here in all quietness to guys and people or villains that want to have a talk with me. I just get the hell out of here as fast as possible. But I know why he's doing this, and So this guy says, "Hey, chill, calm down. Everyone in this room can kill you on the spot, but you are safe for now. Nobody wants to kill you except this cat guy." So, and this, he explains that he is the, I believe, the architect. He's built this facility for people like him, a safe haven. Reminds me a little bit of the X-Men. And that, so what I'm wondering is, so why is he here so calm, right? Why is he here not attacking her? So what he is explaining to her that she could have a home here, and she is, going along because she is. He says, what's his name? I'm sorry, I'm blanking a little bit here. Well, basically, he wants to talk to the leader because they know each other, and say, "Hey, why don't you stay here? I mean, you could work for us, etc." And Perfect 10 says, "Hey, you just kill people left and right. Are you crazy? I'm not gonna not be a part of your murderous group." And he says, "Don't you understand? I'm trying to help you. We can just simply let you go. But if you agree to stay here willingly, I can convince Calamity to change your mind. Me and her, we don't always see eye to eye, but she respects me. Just let me talk to her." So she says, "No, I'm not going to do that." And then, "Okay, you're making a terrible mistake then, 10, but I respect your decision. Good luck to you." So basically, if I understand this correctly, there are, in this whole team, there's a lot of people in here. And they have all their own personalities and all own goals. Although it's not really clear to me what their goals are. Because I thought that the Prime Syndicate was just a group of supervillains that wants to, do supervillain things, take over the world, kill people, or whatever. But it seems that there are also people that with different opinions, which I like, but also dislike at the same time. Why? Because now there could be a group of people in here that you can sympathize with, reason with. So I'm not sure how to feel about that. I just, like in a vicious circle in the Savage Dragon comics, all these guys, or mostly all these guys are just real villains, real bad guys, killers, criminals, whatnot. So it seems that the architect is more like a passive guy and wants to help people like 10 or people with powers, or misfits, outcasts, stuff like that. I get that, but I wish there was just maybe, that's what I like more. Just a group of supervillains that people can kick their asses. Maybe I want too much. I don't know. But hey, okay, let's move on. So yeah, the wall is closing, and then look who's here. So these guys are here, skipping a few pages or one. And so Grotesque says, "Hey, we're going to beat you up, and if you are losing your consciousness, and you are being reprogrammed, you have no recollection of it. So yeah, the action is spinning into high gear, and 10 is actually very smart. So she takes out the big guy first. The big guy takes out then the hammer guy, and then she is, taking care of these losers. And then Grotesque attacks her, and she says, I said, why am I saying Grotesque? It's Aberration. I'm sorry. All these names, man. There's too many villains. He knocks him out with the hammer. But I also like that she is not invincible. So it seems that the hammer can drain people's life force, I guess, or energy. And her arm is now damaged. So she can not use that anymore. So I believe, what's this guy's name? Beehive or whatever? Hive Mind. He's sending bees towards her, and this looks great. But then she also says that the bees cannot penetrate her suit, which is a little bit weird because her face and her fingers and her hands are still exposed. So she's beating him up. And then this guy here has the power to make people sick. Then she does this, so, Beehive guy or Hive Mind is now puking. And she says, who's next? I like that. She's ultra aggressive. Pretty cool. Okay, going back to the wolf guy here, so he's walking around and he says, hey, this place is way bigger. And he needs to go to Glitch. I need him to build me something that activates my powers again, he says. So, and then this girl or woman stops him, and she wants to question him because he came back to the mission, from the mission alive, and he's the only one. And she says, hey, what happened to our teammates? You need to answer for that. But then this is happening. And 10 is still fighting. So the group of supervillain comes in along with wolf guy, Crimson, and she says, hey, it's the assassin. She doesn't like that word, and she says, stop calling me that. I never wanted any of this. I never meant to kill anyone. Don't you people get that? It was never my choice. And then he's hitting him real hard. I like these effects, crock and crunch. And then, okay, spoilers, guys, to the end. He's dead. His brain is bashed in. And then, the last thing, or one of the last things that we're going to see, is that Max Magenta here is getting a visit from Madam President, and she's not happy with all the performance that's happening. There's a lot of people dead, a lot of destruction. And Max say, hey, we can turn around. And he also promised that he's going to kill Calamity when the opportunity arises. And the last thing we're going to see is Calamity here, and she says, hey, tell me, Max, how exactly are you going to do that? Wow, what an ending. Great stuff. And this beautiful looking back piece from Alan Goldman, Peter Palmiotti, and Frederica Siok. So, okay. I said what I like about this comic and what I personally would change. The only thing that I think that was a wasted opportunity is the death of Crimson, because Crimson here gets a lot of exposure, and then I try to want to invest in this guy, and he could be interesting in the next couple of issues. Maybe question his loyalties, etc. I'm not entirely sure, but then now in the end, he's now dead, which, I would have changed that too, personally, because he, like I said, he gets a lot of exposure, he gets a lot of lines. People in the supervillain team doesn't like him when he's normal, only when he is super powered up. Missed opportunity here and there. Overall, this is a fantastic comic with great art, great quality. Guys, what I'm going to do is going to leave a link of Dave's website in the description. There's a couple of comics, only issue 1 here so far. I'm pretty sure Perfect 10 issue number 2 and 3 will be here in the future, and other comics as well. So for the time being, I'll leave you here with this video. And yeah, see you next time. Let me know what you think about this comic, by the way. See ya. Bye-bye.